And so when people say like went to church back in the day, but I don't fuck with church, at least they were talking about the same deity. When you go, which was Jesus Christ, if you go way back to the Bible days, the nations were like a large part of like their division, especially the nation of Israel, only worshiped Yahweh. The other nations did not. The other nations had like mixed deities. But one thing that they never tried to do was act like Yahweh wasn't Yahweh, okay, which is the father of Jesus Christ. You know, if they were gonna be like in the Philistines, I think it was them fucking with, like say Dagon or Baal or Molech, then they were about those gods and they weren't trying to act like, they didn't even try to call God a different thing. Like that whole universe stuff that Lucifer got this world on now, got y'all looking even worse than the nations the Israelites fought back in the Bible days. Because at least they never tried to call Yahweh out his name. Now they didn't like him, but they didn't try to sit there and say Yahweh wasn't Yahweh, or that Yahweh was something else, or that the Most High God wasn't God. They preferred Dagon or Baal or Molech or or whatever the fuck they were worshiping. That was their culture, and they learned it from their people. Now, I tell you how I feel about that. But even in those days, God allowed for people to come into the nation of Israel, to worship Him. So the Jesus Christ sacrifice and Him giving us access to God was always in like the works. Anyhow, God's always been very open to people coming over from other nations and joining Him. But but this world insults God even worse than the pagan nations did back then, because at least they let God be God. It's like the devil was trying to snatch Christ out of the picture and snatch God's name away from him and call him the void and the source. And I think Wu Chi and in the universe, like y'all literally sound worse than like the Philistines and all of these people of like old that the nation of Israel would battle with.